want to provide an opportunity for speakers to improve their speaking abilities and recognize the best as encouragement to all, and also to provide the opportunity to learn by observing the more proficient speakers who have benefited from their Toastmasters training, and you are going to see 5 proficient speakers today. Contestant number 1. Contestant number 1, Jerry Aiyathurai. Words matter. Words matter, Jerry Aiyathurai.
Words matter, but only if we listen. I learned this from a dear friend who lost his words, and from my daughter who is busy finding them. Do you want to hear the story? Yes. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. It began with dinner with my friend Tim, who'd also invited a drummer called Skip for dinner. And by the time we got to dessert, we had become a jazz trio. Skip sounded like a professional drummer. Tim sounded like a professional bass player. And I played like a person whose parents had paid for piano lessons. But what was great about it was not so much the talent or the skill, but the connection and the listening. Skip would tune into everything we were doing and accentuate it. And in that connection, we built a relationship. We became tighter as friends just by listening. And isn't that wonderful about music? It's also wonderful about life, isn't it? I mean, in your life, isn't it true that the people you feel closest to are the people who truly listen? I took this trio as the joy for my creative expression. And for several years, it was wonderful. But then life happened. Skip had to move away. Tim had to move away. Our jam sessions became occasional phone calls. After a while, we were just watching each other on Facebook. Now, we had some likes going on and some photos, but that was it. I wonder if you ever felt a friendship slip away without you noticing. I didn't notice. Until one day my daughter came home bouncing into the room saying, "Dad, my driving lessons are done. It's time for me to practice with the parental units." Now I should explain, my daughter does things in a different sequence. A lot of people do driving before college. She likes to flip the script. College first, driving after. Well, this whole thing sounded great. So I said, yeah, that would be great. It would be like a bonding experience. And from the next room, I heard my wife say, "Yes." Or a recipe for disaster? When I strapped into the car seat, I tried to offer some advice to my daughter. She just kept driving. At some point I said, "You can speed up." And she responded, "You are the passenger." We came around a corner and a cyclist was right in front of us and she hadn't seen him. He was right there and she hadn't slowed down. And I said, "Stop, stop, stop." But I couldn't get the last stop out. It was too late. She had already stopped the car. I tell you honestly, it was just inches from the cycle. Just inches. But also, honestly, several yards. I think the official term for that is missed by a mile. You can always tell how much trouble you're in with my daughter by how long she takes to execute the eye roll. You are the passenger. I'll never forget that moment. She won't let me. But it occurred to me that I had come very close, not to crashing into a bicycle or participating in a car crash, but in crashing a relationship. Because I hadn't been listening for what she was saying. I had so many ideas, so much to offer, and nothing to drink in. What if the words that really matter are the ones we're willing to listen for? I started to think about this, and it didn't take long till something else cropped up in my life to remind me of that. It was a Facebook post by Skip's wife, Tessa. Help. Skip has wandered off. The police are searching. I called her immediately, and she sounded relieved on the phone. Jerry, he's back home safe. But you know, his Alzheimer's, it's getting worse. Skip has Alzheimer's, and I don't know. How can that be? I looked through his posts over the last few years, and suddenly I could see what I hadn't seen before. Suddenly I was hearing him telling us of his troubles, except that I just hadn't been listening. I went over for a cup of coffee with Tim, and he told me that Skip didn't recognize him when he went over to see him. And so as difficult as that moment was, we shared it, and we made a resolution. We would check in with each other. We would check in with Tessa. We would check in with kids. Because life is short, and we want to hear what's happening. Samantha has decided to give me a second chance. A second chance for me to grow up as a dad. She's driving. She's going on to grad school. And she tells me all her brilliant plans, talking 19 to the dozen. And in my head are all the ideas I want to share. But I know what she needs to hear. And I give her this one important word. She needs to know that I'm listening. Fellow Toastmasters, what if love, affection, and connection are measured more by what we're willing to hear than what we're willing to say? What if words matter more when we're willing to hear them, when we're willing to listen? Are you listening?
Contestant 2, Eunice Jiminez. What's your story? What's your story, Eunice Jiminez?
Each and every person in this room has one thing in common. We all have a story. Some stories can be a tale as old as time, or it can be about rain on your wedding day. But all of our stories, however grand or simple or even mundane it sounds, have the power to connect us to each other if we have the courage to share them. Today, I'd like to share mine. It was a cold, dark November night when my husband revealed my deepest, darkest secret. We were at a friend's house during a huge Thanksgiving party when all of a sudden he announced for everyone to hear, "Next year, let's have the party at our house. But let me warn you, whatever happens, do not go down to our basement." Our friend started firing questions left and right. Is it too dark there? Is that where you hide your Amazon boxes? Wait. Are there dead bodies down there? My husband laughed and said, No crime scene there. Well, maybe, but only between the covers of books, because there are hundreds and hundreds of them in our basement. Books on the floor, books all the way to the top of the shelves. It has more books than your friendly neighborhood library. It is so full of books that once you go in, you will never find your way out. I wanted to shout, "I object!" But the problem was, there is nothing to object to. It is the truth. I am guilty of the crime of bibliomania in the first degree. I didn't know what I would do after my secret was exposed. Would I get publicly angry at my husband or walk out of the dinner table because I was afraid I would be judged? Or maybe just stay silent the whole night. But then I remembered I am a wife and a Toastmaster. I never stay silent. So I gathered courage to tell a story that I haven't told anyone until that cold, dark November night. I was born and raised in a small town in central Philippines where there was no easy access to a library. We were very poor. My mother was a single earner and she couldn't even afford to buy books for me. But she had enough wisdom to turn a difficult situation into a life lesson. Every day, Mama would go to the wet market and buy the most affordable food in our island, fish. The vendor would clean the fish and then tightly wrap it in a single sheet of old newspaper. One day, when my mother got home, she unwrapped the fish, gave me the newspaper, and told me to read. Little did she know that that moment made me fall in love with reading. The fish fed my stomach, but that paper, that single sheet of old newspaper, fed my soul. So every day I would excitedly rush into the kitchen, grab the paper from Mama's hand, and devour every word on it. I didn't care about the smell, nor the scales. I was just happy to be reading, until I would be told to go to the next page. Only there was no next page. The Chernobyl nuclear disaster, the Space Shuttle Challenger explosion, the feature on Tom Cruise, every story felt unfinished. So naturally, when I started earning my money, the first thing I bought was a book. Because I love the feeling of knowing that if I turned the page, there would be a page two, that I would be taken to the next part of the story. So it isn't really about hoarding for me, but my thirst for stories with ending. Surprisingly, my openness to tell my story crept into the whole room. That Thanksgiving party turned into a shared giving party where we shared stories after stories without fear, without judgment. And at the end of the night, we felt that our stories, like words on a page, had found their way to each other, creating a stronger, more meaningful, lasting connection among all of us. So what is your story? Because I know that each and every person in this room carries a story that is waiting to be told, that is waiting to come out of the dark basement, that is waiting to be unwrapped. We now live in a world where digital conversations far outpace human interactions. A world where we are slowly forgetting what makes us human. Our ability to gather, to listen, and to connect through stories. So today, when you leave this room, don't let your story just sit on a shelf and collect dust. Open it, speak it, share it, loudly, boldly, and with all your heart. Because this is how we will make humanity survive. This is how we will make the world a little bit kinder, a little bit braver, and a little more connected. And we all can do it, one story at a time. So now, tell me, are you ready to tell the world your story.
Contestant number 3, Khushi, Pasquale. The best we could. The best we could. Khushi, Pasquale.
Have you ever wanted to tell off your parents? To tell them everything they did wrong parenting you? Well, I do. I'm sitting on the beige leather back seat of my father's car, heart flip-flopping nervously. Dad's driving, Mom's navigating, map open on her lap. I think about all the times we've driven together, conversations we've had. But believe me, this time, it's going to be different. Dear Toastmasters, dear guests, where is it that your family has their conversations? Around the kitchen table? Not mine. We talk in the car. Our family car is like a rolling confessional, sometimes a vehicle of forgiveness. It offers a bubble of privacy. It carries a trunkload of secrets. I am one of 9 children. There was no privacy in our home and certainly no time for discussion. When my mom invites me and me alone to go shopping with her, I know it's time for a mobile heart-to-heart. Wheels turning, eyes kept on the road. We navigate tender areas of teen rebellion and coming of age. Why can't you obey your father? Can't you try harder to please your dad? What? You're in love? Oh, dear. What's his name? Oh, dear. Do you have any questions? By the time we reach our destination, harmony is restored. The ride home is filled with laughter. Now, the family car is also the place I got absolute proof of my father's love. We were all squeezed into the station wagon for a Christmas visit. Dad's driving, Mom sits next to him with the baby on her lap. We're singing jingle bells, jingle, although when all of a sudden a little red sports car ignores a stop sign and comes barreling towards us. There's a shriek of brakes, frightened screams, and then boom! We land in a snowbank, inches away from that other car. We're shaken, but no one's hurt. Dad gets out, walks over to the other car. He looks down at the driver, who still sits white-knuckled at his wheel. My dad could barely control his voice. The quiver in Dad's normally calm command shakes me. Do you see who I have in that car? That's my wife. The baby. That's my family. What the heck do you think you were doing? At that moment, the list of complaints I have against my dad evaporates. The slate is wiped clean. Dad's love for us is tangible. In his voice, his resolve, the walls of protection he's put up around us. Dad loves us. Dad loves me. I want to run to him, wrap my arms around him, bury my face in his rough tweed coat. Dad gets back in the car, starts the engine, and bellows. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh, hey. But that was a dim memory decades later, when I decide to confront my parents with the mistakes they made parenting me. Dad's driving. Mom's navigating. I'm no longer a child. I have children of my own. It's time to unlock secrets, shed some light on our darker moments, and prove that they're wrong. Mom, Dad, I'd like to talk about when I was growing up. Now, I have thought a lot about it. Mom sticks her head between the two front seats to face me. Oh, honey, we did the best we knew how. We wanted to do better than our parents. Believe me, we did the best we could. Dad adjusts the rearview mirror. We did our best. That's all we ever asked of you. We love you, and we did the best we could. The rhythm of the car picks up their answers like a refrain. I can't avoid the truth of their responses. Can you? I realize it's true for me too. As a parent myself, all I could ever do was my best. Isn't that what we're all trying to do? Our best? Once again, I have to tear up the scorecard I've been keeping. Times I hurt them, times they hurt me. Whatever doubts I have, simply blow out the window. My parents loved me, and they did the best they could. Maybe your parents did the same. Maybe it's time to tear up your scorecards. I lean back against the soft leather seats and listen to the rhythm of my heartbeat. The best we could. The best we could.
Contestant number 4, Michelle DeDominicis. Silence. Silence. Michelle DeDominicis.
Silence! Silence is power. Power is silence. Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guest. We live in a world that's filled with noise and chaos, drama, politics, social media, and TikTok. But we must recall that the most powerful thing that we have going for us today is silence. There's different levels to silence as well. If you think about it, when silence first occurs, we start with the ability to think and ponder. It gently moves to the ability to be curious and question. But then it feels awkward and annoying. In the 30 seconds that I introduced my speech, it probably seemed like longer, didn't it? We all thought, oh, this is an interesting way to open a speech. And then some people might have questioned, did I remember what I was going to talk about? I did. No. But then it comes a little bit awkward for everyone. People start looking around and seeing maybe if something's wrong somewhere, something's going on. And then it becomes annoying. like that unanswered text. Now, each and every one of us has a different silence, something that is only true to us. What silence means. For me, silence is solitude. Back in 2020, when everyone got forced to work at home, I was missing my 200 to 300 employees that I normally would see at work. My husband had to go in the office, he was essential, and my daughter went off to college. So there I am alone with solitude, my silence. I did what everyone else did. I got a puppy. And many people said, oh, there's video chat, there's video conference, you could see other people. If I wanted to see other people, I would turn my television on and watch a show. But for me, my silence was solitude, and silence is power. Now, my friend Patty, her silence is serenity. Patty was born with 85% hearing loss. She got her first hearing aids at the age of 3. And when we were in high school, Patty got her first pair of big girl hearing aids. High tech, the most awesome hearing aids she's ever had. She was so excited to wear them to school when she first got them. The next morning, she got up, was getting her breakfast ready. She had her hair done just right so people could see her new hardware. And clang, 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 swish, 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 swish. Oh, it was just her father starting the hot water heater to turn on the shower and get some hot water. The noises she heard at school that day were unbelievably overwhelming for her. Thankfully, she had the ability to just turn down the hearing aids. For her, silence is serenity, and silence is power. Now my mom. My mom's silence is sadness. Having raised 6 kids who are all off on their own, raising their own family, losing a husband after 51 loving years, and one by one, losing her best friends to death or nursing homes. Living alone in a giant house whose days are filled with quiet. Silence is sadness for her. She often fills these quiet days by leaving the television on with her favorite show, NCIS, on repeat. She also tends to have her CD player going with all those oldies but goodies, and she likes to call her kids all the time, all day long, especially her favorite. But at least she's not talking to her new best friend, potential spam. So for her, the silence is overwhelming, but silence is power. What is your silence? What is the power it has over you? And what can you do to resolve that? Because silence is power, and power is silence.
Contestant 5, Richard Frantz Jr. How to make the universe fall in love with you. How to make the universe fall in love with you, Richard Frantz Jr.
Have you ever known someone who's just lucky? Contest master, Toastmasters, guest. That's not me. That's my sister. Growing up, it was very irritating. Things would just go right for her. Everything just broke her way. For me, sometimes it'd be right, sometimes it'd be wrong, mostly wrong. Let me explain. She'd bend over and pick up a quarter. I'd bend over to pick up a dime. Foil. But what really drove me crazy was this one traffic light. She gets to the traffic light, it's green. I get to the traffic light, it turns red. Just in front of me. It got so bad we could be in the same car. She's driving, green light. I'm driving, red light. Don't worry, we get along much better now that we live 2,000 miles apart. But I finally figured it out. The universe really likes my sister. The universe loves my sister. And after a while of thinking about it, I realized I could get the universe to love me too. It's really pretty simple. First of all, don't be a whiner. Nobody likes a whiner. I don't like a whiner. You don't like a whiner. The universe does not like a whiner. If you keep whining about everything that goes wrong, it's going to keep going wrong. It's just the nature of the universe. The universe does not like whiners. Appreciate the good things. For everybody, there are some good things that come into your life. Enjoy them. If you don't appreciate them, the universe is going to look at this and say, why am I giving this person some good things? They don't appreciate it. And it just won't happen anymore. So appreciate those little things that go right. I make it a point to appreciate every green light I come to. Ignore the bad things. They're not worth getting stressed about, and the universe will appreciate that you're not feeling so bad about it. I was driving to a Toastmasters meeting thinking about this speech, and it was raining. And I'm there, rain. I thought, wait a minute, I like the rain. You get this beautiful flat light for photography. And when it stops, the trees are their most beautiful because they've just been washed and watered and everything is looking green. It's not so bad when it's raining. I've got a towel. I'll just dry off. It's not a problem. And you know, driving in the rain is kind of nice. It's private. I'm alone. I got my chance for my thoughts. I like the rain. Fortune favors the prepared. The universe likes people who prepare for the universe to like them. I've got a towel in my car. Now, admittedly, that's partially because I know the answer is 42. But it's also because it might rain and I might want to dry off my hair. And it's very convenient. I can do lots of things with that towel. In my glove compartment, there are things that I use for being prepared. I was getting ready to come here thinking, wait a minute, is there a toll? Do I have money for? Oh wait, I got money for the toll in my glove compartment. I'm ready for this. Someday, I am going to go on a picnic with this lovely lady and a bottle of wine. And I'm going to need a corkscrew. I'm lucky, I've got a corkscrew in my glove compartment. When it's time for me to go home, I'm going to be dependent on my cell phone for my GPS to figure out how to get home. And I'm worried about the voltage charge dropping on it. But I got to charger cable in my glove compartment just in case. I'm prepared for these things. I don't have bad luck from this. The universe likes me. The universe appreciates those who have a sense of humor. As long as you can laugh at whatever comes up, the universe will be fine with you. So, appreciate the good things. Ignore the bad things. Don't whine about it. Be prepared so you have those, you can handle those things. And keep a sense of humor. And the universe will love you. Just like it loves my sister. And me. Mr. Contest Master.
Jerry, congratulations. Well done. I gotta say, I would not want to be a judge for this contest. You guys were amazing. All right, let's start with you, Jerry. Notable accomplishments. Jonathan and Samantha. Could you elaborate?
Do I speak like this?
Sure.
Well, to tell you the truth, it was mostly Sashi's work. But I enjoy taking credit for it.
That's great. Club and how long have you been in Toastmasters?
Farmington Toastmasters, club number 8443. I've been in Toastmasters for about 20 years, since I tried to make nice to my father-in-law, who was a Toastmaster at the time. I cannot tell you if it improved our relationship, but it improved my speaking.
Excellent. And Eunice.
Hi.
Name and club and how long?
I'm Eunice Jiminez from New England Advanced Toastmasters Club, and I have been in Toastmasters for 21 years, but 16 years in the Philippines, 5 years in New Jersey, and then first year here in Connecticut.
So you mentioned you love reading, you love writing and cooking. I take it you have some cookbooks in that basement somewhere down there?
Oh, yes, I do. And if I can give you one advice, the cookbook that really works is by an Australian that is called Recipe Tin Eats, and that works. If you have a party or whatever, that's the only advice I can give to anyone who loves cooking. That's the only recipe that gives me a lot of, compliments after dinner.
All right. Thank you.
Khushi Pasquale, Uncle Sam's Toastmasters and also Last Word Toastmasters, and I've been a Toastmaster since 2012.
So hiking. Where's some good spots to hike around?
Oh, I was in Germany for the last 25 years or so, coming back to this area where I was before that. And at the time when I was here before, I never went walking. I was taking care of kids and doing a bunch of other things. But now that I'm back, I found somebody who can introduce me to all of the nature trails, and Columbia County is filled with them. So if you haven't been to Ooms in Ghent, it's a lovely, flat, mostly trail. And if you haven't been to the Taconic Trail up by Williamstown, breathtaking. You got to go there. You can see, oh, it's heaven. It's just paradise.
All right, Michelle DeDominicis from the Blue Chip Toasters 5177. I've been a Toastmaster since the late 1900s.
We're back to the odds, huh? All right. Successfully raised a child. Want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Yes.
Let's define success.
Success. So, for those that may not know, my daughter is here with me today. That's my child. My husband is the other child, but he was left at home because he was not being a very good boy today. But I raised my daughter. She just got her master's last week, and she wants to be an art teacher, so she has an interview tomorrow. Or Monday.
Congratulations.
I am with Cheshire Toastmasters. I have been in Toastmasters so long that if I figure out exactly how long, it'll make me feel old. Deservedly, but it'll make me feel old.
So reading and playing with the computer. You're a gamer, I take it.
Some, but it's also, I do a little programming, but it's not serious stuff. That's for work. But for at home, anything with the computer is handy.
Any particular languages, or how about AI? You delve into that?
Not quite yet. Check back in about a year.
All right. So now the lightning round gets interesting. See if I got any other questions for you. I do. All right.
The questions get harder.
Ultimately, we're all connected. Peter Gabriel.
Yes.
What about Peter Gabriel that touches you?
Well, I've followed his career. He's a singer from England. He was part of Genesis. And I really was drawn to their music, keys and all that. But really, I thought he became a sort of voice of conscience at some point in the 80s. He became more of a poet. And he does have something to say. And I do like the idea that whether we recognize it or not, we are connected. So I like that quote.
All right. Friday, have you written a book yet?
No, I haven't written a book about. I teach kids public speaking, so one of these days I might write a book about that.
Okay, no plans currently?
I have 2 toddlers who always pull at my shirt and whatever, so I cannot write anything right now.
There's a theme of success in children in this group here. All right. This is last minute. You're also into reading. Surprise yourself is a favorite quote.
It is, and it's from my sister. And tonight, I surprised myself. I am a planner. I take a lot of time to go through things, to work on stuff, to rehearse and rehearse and rehearse and rehearse. And I found out an hour and a half ago that I was going to be on stage today. And I haven't looked at this speech for a while because somebody else was supposed to be here. And Angelo's speech, if you haven't heard it, it's beautiful. And all I wanted to do when I got on the stage was to deliver a speech that could match his or come up to his standards. At first I thought, I can't do it, I don't even know the speech. But I happened to have it on my phone. That's the first time I put a speech on my phone. I think 90% of success is supposed to be showing up, and the other 10% is having it on your phone.
So what kind of volunteer work do you do?
What kind of volunteer work do I do today? I guess often our volunteer experiences change as we perhaps age. When I was in my 20s, my volunteer work was probably a lot more physical than it is now. Now I like to be the boss of volunteers, and I like to let them get inspired and let them know what that feeling is when you're giving back. So I do a lot of volunteering for a Grange organization. I'm a big-time Granger, so that's my volunteering.
Thank you. Something about your quote, when in doubt, pick C. Have you seen my SAT score?
That advice is not about multiple choice test. It's about when you're confronted with 2 terrible choices, don't pick either of them. Pick something else. It's about thinking outside the box.
All right. See, that's why I had to ask you. All right. Thank you so much, all of you. Amazing job. We'll have hopefully the winners announced shortly. Well done. All right, just want to let everybody know there was no qualifications for time. No disqualification, sorry. They all qualified. With that, I just washed my mouth and I can't do a thing with it, apparently.
Joe, you
All
don't have
right.
to send any video in. We're good.
So, who's in third place? You? Third place winner, Jerry Aiyathurai. Our second place winner, Khushi. Wow. The silence is powerful. First place winner is Eunice, Jiminez. All right, these are our winners. Congratulations, everybody.